Hey y'all, Jen here from CalFresh Healthy Living, part of Nevada County Department of Public Health, and I am here to wish you a happy International Soup Month. And with that, I was going to give you a little tip on how to make vegetable broth with food scraps. So I always keep a Ziploc bag in my freezer, and as I'm cooking, I save any bits and pieces of veggies that I wouldn't want to cook for dinner that night, but they can be used to make a great soup broth. So you can save this bag in the freezer for up to 6 months. Once it gets full, you'll make the broth. Usually gets full before 6 months. You can use so many different veggies in this. So you could do corn cobs, squash ends, garlic and onion peels, carrot tops and peels, beet greens, mushroom stems, celery leaves, spinach, parsnip, parsley. You get the idea. There are a few things to avoid, and those are broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and potato peels. They can tend to make the broth a bit bitter if you use them. You can also use some random dried up herbs. I have some old herbs here, not quite fresh enough for a recipe that you'd want to present, but they're great still on flavor. Add that in there too. So what you do is you're going to take your soup pot on the stove top, put it on about a medium heat, add some olive oil, and you are going to put your veggie scraps in the pot and let them saute for a bit until they get nice and warm and the flavor starts to come out. Maybe a little bit of fragrance will come out from that. And once that's done, you are going to submerge it in water. So you're going to cover all the vegetables with water, about a ½ inch of water above the top. At this point, you can add bay leaves or peppercorns. You're gonna bring that to a boil. Once it's boiling, reduce it to a simmer. Let it simmer for about 45 minutes. Once it's done simmering, it'll be a nice dark brown, really fragrant, smelling really delicious, making you hungry. Turn off the heat, let it cool completely. Once it's cool, you're gonna use a strainer or you can use a colander to strain out all the vegetables and separate the broth. Cool fact is you can still compost those veggies. So long as there's no animal products used in the broth, you can go ahead and still compost the veggies, which are really rich in nitrogen for your garden. So once you have the broth, you can store it in jars or even bags. I have an old pasta jar here that I'm gonna reuse and fill with broth. And the broth keeps in the fridge for up to 4 days and in the freezer for up to 3 months. So you'll always have broth on hand with this method, ready to celebrate Soup Month. Happy Soup Month.